every day feels just like heaven. Wifey, you mean the world to me.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Etcetera with the Woodards. I am your host, Craig Woodard Sr., and this is episode 13. And you know what? We're going to start off explaining exactly what we're doing. We're recording to run this on Monday night on our YouTube channel at Etcetera with the Woodards, and we are actually going Facebook Live tonight as well. We wanted to extend our reach to the audience out there. I do post the recording on for our podcast on Facebook. We have it on Instagram. We have it on LinkedIn. Of course, it's on our YouTube channel and our website at www.dsatb.org. But I wanted to bring a little bit more live interaction into the picture for the very first time. And so I went back to another thing I'm very comfortable with, which is Facebook Live. So we got Facebook Live going on right now as well. So you all can communicate with me if you have any questions or want to join in on the conversation with some comments. Just feel free to put a comment on the chat. We got 2 viewers right now, which is great. Stay with me. It's going to be a wonderful show tonight. So, Etcetera with the Woodards. ETC. Number 1, E. Energy. I'm going to give you all the energy I got. It's full of energy. A great show we have tonight. T is for transparency. I'm going to be fully transparent, tell you the truth about things as I know it. And the C is for conviction. I'm going to give you my honest opinion as I see it as well. It's going to be a great show, and I've been pushing this show for a little bit the last couple of days, and we were talking about some of these things at work, and I couldn't wait to do this particular type of a show because I was on the phone with a buddy of mine just a couple of days ago, and we got into a conversation. I've talked to a lot of my friends about this. So, my crew up north, I'm usually the younger one out of the crew. My crew down here, I'm one of the older ones out of the crew as well. So I have some different perspectives, but this is going to be pretty cool and pretty fun. So what we're going to start off talking about, first of all, it's Memorial Day weekend. So I want to start off saying thank you, thank you, thank you to all of our military, former military, current military who have fought for us, who served this country. Thank you all for everything that you have done. And of course, keeping us safe. Okay. And I'm probably sure we're going to have a few members watching the show tonight as well. This podcast gets some pretty good viewership. So, as I said, I'm going on 51 years old. June 26th, I'll be 51. So since last June, I turned 50. And I got to tell you what, 50 was that was a tough uh, age for me, a tough birthday for me. Yeah, we're celebrating. We had a party. My wife threw a nice 50th party for me and everything. But then when you start to think about things, you start to think, man, I'm 50 years old. When you look behind you, and there's 49 years behind you, and then you look in front of you, how many more years do you have in front of you? And you got to think about, my life is probably halfway over with, and that's kind of humbling, kind of surreal when you think about it that way. You know, and I'm going on 51, so these years go by quickly. Man, do they go by quickly. Here it is, Memorial Day weekend in 2025, and I graduated high school in 1992. It is crazy. Malcolm Pulliam just joined. Hey, Malcolm, what's happening, man? Malcolm, you'll be able to relate to a couple things that I'm saying. What I want to start off talking about, just reaching out to, and it doesn't even have to be some of our former athletes. And Malcolm, you're right. That is deep. He said that is deep. When you think about it, when you look behind you, you know, 50 years are behind you. How many years do you have in front of you? That is, it's really humbling. Want to give a shout out to my aunt Mary. What's happening? What's happening? Um, and Mary's 6 months older than me, so January 31st she'll be 51. When you start thinking about these things, here's the other thing: we're losing a lot of people around us. We're losing a lot of people that are the same age as us. We're losing a lot of people that are a couple years older than us. We're losing a lot of people that are even younger than us, and it's really scary. So 50 for me was a difficult um, birthday. I talked about reaching out to some of my former athletes. Malcolm, he's one of them. There's plenty of them that are around my age, a little bit older. Um, you ever just get pains for no damn reason at all? you, you ever just, you know, I was at work the other day and I stood up and oh yeah, my Aunt Mary, she's 51 already. She just turned 51. She'll be 52. She'll be 52 come January 31st. That is right, Auntie. That is right. Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about too. I got up out of my chair at work. Got up out of my chair at work and I tweaked my knee. What does that mean? What does that mean? I'm telling you what, my knee still hurts to this day, and this was last week. And I think I like sprained my meniscus because right in there it really hurts, man. I've been putting the cupping on it and ice and stuff. I get these nagging injuries. I sneezed one time and my back hurt. I mean, 50 years old. These things didn't happen when I was 40. When I was 35 years old, these things did not happen. But when you turn 50, man, it is a different ball game. You get up out of the seat after watching the game for a little bit and your knees are hurting and your ankles are hurting and you're walking kind of funny until you're walking for a little while because you got to loosen up a little bit. You know, 50, 50 years old. It's just, it's something else. I could be watching a movie and I fall asleep in the middle of the movie, wake up and be like, man, what the hell just happened? 50. That's what happened. 50 happened, it's crazy. All right, I'm gonna just put this out there, and some of y'all fellas out there. I mean, you could feel me a little bit. Some of the fellas may be able to relate, but as you get older, 50, you get a little bit more emotional. Even with commercials, I've watched The Pursuit of Happiness, one of my favorite movies, and the scene where Will Smith is in the bathroom and they're kicked out of the motel, and they're in the bathroom, and he puts his foot on the door to hold the door, and someone's knocking to try to get in, and his son is sleeping on his lap, and he's got paper towels laid on the nasty floor in the subway, and uh, he's basically hit rock bottom, and his wife left him. You know, uh, I tear up every time that scene comes on. I tear up every time that scene comes on. And there's a lot of other scenes that come on that deal with kids, and I think that's probably part of being a father as well. But 50 does not help. 50 does not help. All right, so moving on, right? I know you guys feel where I'm coming from. Don't act like it's just me. I know you guys feel it. I know you guys are hurting a little bit too, and it's tough to really take care of yourself, But we got to keep it moving, right? All right. So next topic I wanted to talk about. We talk about 50. We're going to talk about sex life after the age of 50. Um, I guess the first question from hearing from a lot of my friends and what they go through and everything, the first question is, what happened to it? Where'd it go? Part of it, man, I'm gonna tell you, just from a male's perspective, um, and I got some of my fellas out there are road warriors. They are. But some of us, man, you work 10 hours a day, come home, grab something to eat, hop in the shower, man, you're tired. You're tired, especially if you got kids at the house and if you're running around and doing things with the kids, man, and trying to get them all settled. You get tired. Um, Sometimes it's tough to um, to play that husband and wife role all the time, because you're so stuck into the mommy and the daddy role, where you're taking care of the kids and stuff. And so, on a relationship type thing, that intimacy is very important. But what happened when you turn 50? What happened? Females, what happened to the females? You know what I mean? I hear from my fellas, not naming anybody, but I've heard from a number of my fellas, man, and you know, um, it's been absent for quite some time, and it's like, I understand, um, especially when you're dealing with women that work just like we do, fellas, and they work all day and they come home and they're taking care of the kids and doing all type of stuff at the household and everything. And now here it is, 10 o'clock, and you want to get your freak on a little bit, and they're tired, or they say, oh, let me take a rain check, or let's do it tomorrow, you know, or sometimes you get into a position where um, somebody starts an argument with somebody, so now that's the excuse because you mad at each other or whatever the case may be, man. When you turn 50, things change. Back in the day, in mid 20s and 30s and newlyweds and stuff, it didn't matter where, didn't matter when, didn't matter what time, didn't matter how many times a day. I could quote my good friend Jerome from Martin. Everybody know Martin. Back in the 1990s, one of the best sitcoms out there. Jerome said, "I promise to love, honor, and obey, and hit it twice every day, even 4 times on Sunday." Romy Rome, right? Even Romy Rome had the vows. Would you like to hear them? All right. Romy Rome had it down, you know. But things change, man. They do change, and it's like, you know, what happened to that passion? You know, who is the initiator? Some topics when you get done watching this podcast, some topics you can ask your partner. You guys will have this discussion and be like, what, see what is right, what's going on, who's the initiator? Is it always the guy? Is the guy the one that has to drive the sexual relationship, or is it the female? I mean, I'm sure in a lot of households it is the female, um, but who is it? Who is it in your household? Um, and then if you are the initiator and you're turned down because of I'm tired, or I gotta get a shower, or I got a headache, or you know, I just don't feel like it right now. You know, there's only so many times you get turned down, and then you like, man. Okay, you start thinking about things, but do you ask again the following night? Do you ask again the third night? Um, what do you do? And do you feel um, do you feel as attractive as you did when y'all first got together when you're turned down? Talk about that. Um, hey, listen, we all done, went through what we went through. We done all got older. We all got bigger. We all, way a little different than what we do in our 20s. We got our adult on. You know what I mean? Um, I got a beer belly and I worked hard for this. I was a top athlete for quite some time, and then life changes, man. You know what I mean? And I can't work out 8 hours a day. Love me for me. And I'm sure everybody out there is saying that, and I know my boys are the same way. You know, but what happens um, through life and through marriages, and it's just crazy that all these things happen, but it does. So yeah, if you're turned down, do you still feel sexy? Do you still feel attractive? Do you still feel like you want to be the one to initiate it? And then you don't want to feel turned down or rejected again, so you stop asking, right? And then the other party isn't asking either. And then a week goes by, and then 2 weeks go by, and then 3 weeks go by, and then these things just happen. There's got to be that spark still in the relationship. You know what I mean? So, but it's crazy when I listen to my buddies, and most of them say a lot of the same things. The time frame that it's been absent, and um, you know. And so they talk about the same things, you know what I mean, and we have to be sensitive to what the female goes through as well. I know after 50, menopause starts around in that particular age group, in that age category, and and the women may feel like men feel, and I can't speak for everybody out there, but to be honest with you, I'm 300 plus pounds, but I have more confidence than I feel anybody has in a big man and how I look. That's just me. I hold confidence, not a cockiness. I just hold confidence. If you don't feel confident about yourself, nobody else will, and that's what it is, right? So, um, but some females may not feel as attractive as they once were, especially to their man. Some may, you know. It's a confidence thing, and some people are built differently. Some people are definitely built differently. So that's another thing, another factor that you have to fight and push aside, just to make sure that you know that you try to keep your relationship going, and try to make sure that your mate knows that you're still attracted to that person. Um, you know, that's what we need to do. You know what I mean? But when you hit 50, man, the yellow light goes off, it starts blinking and blinking, and then soon the red light starts. Do not let the red light start. You gotta have a green light. You gotta continue doing what you're doing. And I think sometimes talking about it is healthy. And I talked to a couple of my buddies this week, and I was like, you know what? This is a good topic for the podcast. Let me talk about this because everybody around my age can relate to this, as far as what we're talking about. You know what I mean? And we talked about these aches and pains, and you ever think about when's the last time you just sprinted? When's the last time you just took off? You're not gonna do it, man. Look, I used to run a 4.45 in the 40-yard dash, man, and I if I took off right now, I would pull 5 hamstrings and a groin. It's just not meant to be. It's not. I mean, think about it. When is the last time you just took off and started sprinting? We're built differently now, man. At 50 years old, you can't do these things, man. It's funny, I'll be driving to work, and in the morning time, and I'm driving, and there'll be people out there jogging and stuff, and it's hard for me to even. I can't even do that, to be honest with you, right now, with my knees right now, and I have Achilles tendonitis. I told y'all there's some followers that I've had that I used to do Facebook Live all the time. I used to walk, every day, go on, just about every day, and I was on this health kick, man. I dropped like 51 pounds, and then I developed Achilles tendonitis in both of my feet. It hurts in my right foot really bad. I got some cushiony lifts that are in there right now. I got a slant board that I try to stretch it on and everything, but it just it's not the same. It's just not the same, and it feels like sometimes when I'm sitting at work at my desk, it feels like if I get up too quick, I could tear my Achilles tendon. That's what it feels like. So the thought of sprinting right now is dreadful for me. But these aches and these pains and your back's hurting and all types of stuff, man, it is absolutely, absolutely crazy. All right, we're going to move on to the next topic and then we'll wrap up things. We'll talk about raising children in 2025 versus how we were raised in our era. Wow. Like, what a fundamental difference there is there. What a fundamental difference there is. You know, little brother of mine, Jovan Johnson, he's starting to do some Facebook Lives and he's walking like 25 miles a week, 5 miles a day. He was on one of his 5 mile treks this morning. And I happened to catch him on Facebook right when he went on live. And I popped in there. What's up, little bro? What's going on? And he and I had a little conversation, just going back and forth. I was putting some comments in the chats, man, and we were just talking, man. And he's showing me around. He's like, I think there was only two kids that rode by him with bikes on. Here it was, 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, and there's nobody out. Where back in the day, you couldn't keep us in the house back in the day. I'm from Erie, Pennsylvania, man, the 814, and growing up 24th, 25th Street on the east side. We were either playing basketball, we were either playing tag, we were either racing in the street or playing football. We were either down at the Erie One, balling down there. We were doing something outside. And it's funny because you would leave out in the morning time. We wouldn't know, oh, I'm going to come home for lunch or nothing like that. We left the house. Our parents knew where we were. We were in the neighborhood. If we got thirsty, what did we do? We stopped at somebody's house and went on the side of the house and got their water hose. That's what we did. The water hose is what we drank out of, man, and then we kept it moving. We kept doing our thing, kept playing outside and having fun. But the one thing about when we were younger is we knew what time we had to be home. You knew what time you had to be home. Right when those street lights come on, you better have your butt on the porch. So that was one thing that we were trained to do. But don't act a fool when you're outside. Don't act a fool because you'll have the neighbor lady snatch you up. They give you a whooping and take you to your grandmother's house. You get a whooping there, and then they take you home. And then you get one when you get home. That's just how it was growing up back in the 80s, man. And it was just totally different than how it is now. And to Javon's point, only seeing two kids riding their bikes, he gave them props for being outside riding their bikes. We used to be outside riding bikes and walking and doing all kinds of stuff back in the day. It's totally different now because you got these phones and you got these tablets and you got these video games and everyone's at home on their video games. I couldn't tell you the last time I played a video game, you know, but that's what's keeping people in the house. And um, you know, the girls used to be outside, playing hopscotch and double dutch and all kind of stuff, man. And we don't have that now. It's totally different. And raising kids, another part of it is how you discipline your kids. Lord knows we were disciplined. We were disciplined by being spanked. Now a lot of people don't agree with being spanked or spanking now. Um, but back in the day, it was what it was. But that's where a lot of the respect came from. So now you see these kids in school right now talking to these teachers all twisted and cussing at them and all kinds of stuff, and there's no control at home. There's just too many rules and regulations that have changed how we parent. our kids now. And all of us that were whooped, I think we turned out just fine. I think we turned out quite all right. You know what I mean? We got some great folks out there, man, that grew up around my era, and we turned out all right. Now, back in the day, going through it, we didn't want to go through it, and I know we got tons of stories about what happened back in the day, but. Whoopings are not supposed to be fun. They're not. They're supposed to correct you so that you will not want to do what you just did again. You don't want to do it again. Um, so there's been a lot of factors that have made it a little tougher to raise kids now, and it's like we're in a position where it's a technology world right now, where you want to. It's almost a must to have kids that are even in middle school to have um, a cell phone. And when you think about it, it sounds stupid. It really, really does, because we didn't have a cell phone back in the day. We didn't. But when's the last time you just drove down the street and saw a payphone somewhere? Those have gone away. You see them sometimes maybe at some of the gas stations and stuff like that, maybe. But I remember at the Mill Creek Mall, they used to have some payphones down in the middle there, right down the block from Merry-Go-Round and JW and everything. And people used to be on the payphones all the time. But what it meant is when you left the house, you knew what time you were going to be home because you had the instruction of what time you needed to be home, and there was really no communication with your parents when you left the house because you didn't have cell phones. You know, it wasn't a thing. It just wasn't a thing, and I think sometimes now, um, these kids now, man, if I think these kids now would rather have a whooping than you take their phone away. You know, you take their phone away, oh, that cuts their whole lifeline out. Cuts the whole lifeline out. But you got to be thrifty about it. If you take your phone away, you got to take the iPad away. You got to take all kinds of stuff away to try to disconnect them to social media and the outside world is very hard to do. You know what I mean? Very, very tough to do. But some people agree with me, some people don't. You raise your kids how you see fit and how you want to, but there are fundamental differences in how we were raised versus how we raise kids now. I can guarantee you this. The one thing that you have to do is you have to be pretty well versed in social media and searching things. And that's the one thing my wife is very good about. Chrissy, when Dante lived with us, when he was in middle school and then at the beginning of his high school years here, we would track him and Dylan, our nephew. We would track all kinds of stuff and find out where they were and what they were doing and who they were texting and all kinds of stuff, man. So sometimes staying up on the game on technology, teaching yourself that, even though we're in our 50s, that's one of the better ways to help when it comes down to raising kids in today's world, 2025, because things definitely are different. All right. Well, look, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you enjoyed the show, man. We talked about going on 51. We talked about sex life after 50. We talked about the aches and pains that you develop after 50 years old and raising kids in 2025 versus our era. These are topics that you all can discuss when we close out this podcast and talk amongst yourselves and bring up some topics, man, and see how things are in your household, man. So I just wanted to start the topic. I appreciate everybody who tuned in on Facebook Live and who is watching this podcast, episode 13. For Christine Woodard, I'm Craig Woodard. Good night, everyone.